Hi everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hope you are all doing well and enjoyed the eclipse today. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so today I'm going to give you a list of foods so you know exactly what to eat on a ketogenic diet. So this list is really going to help you to be successful. It will clear up a lot of questions. And, this is really a healthy way of eating, but a lot of people don't know what to eat. So I'm going to help you clear that up. So I want you, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and just type them in. Also, if you would like your own list directly to your inbox, just message me your email address. You could put it in the comments, but everybody would see it. So I suggest just messaging me. Okay, so let's get started. First, of course, I will introduce myself, and I'm Stacy Portugal, and I help over 40 women get the results they deserve and just finally lose the weight so they're not frustrated anymore. All right, so here is the list of what you can eat on a ketogenic diet. Once again, if you have questions, put them in the comments because I'm going to try to look in the comments as I'm going. And throw me a like, let me know that you're here because I don't know, Facebook is a little funny with me lately when I do these lives. So if you have questions, if you want your list delivered and all my tips delivered directly to your inbox, I have a PDF. So all you have to do is message me your email address. Everything goes out via email. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is dairy and cheese. So if you have any questions, pop them in comments. Here's what I want to say about dairy and cheese. Most people know what dairy and cheese are, but I will clear it up in case you don't know. So it's things like yogurt, cream, unsweetened whipped cream, and then cheese like cottage cheese, Gouda, cheddar, mozzarella, Parmesan. I got a whole list, ricotta. And here's the thing about cheese that a lot of people don't realize is, first of all, cheese has natural carbohydrates. That's called lactose. Lactose is the natural sweetener found in dairy. Because when you think about milk and the purpose of milk, it's to feed the young. So there is a natural sweetener in milk. So my suggestion is to read the labels on any dairy products you choose. Now, obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, this is not a good choice for you. But know that it contains carbs. And as far as low fat, no fat, full fat, I get that question a lot. And the thing about that is this is really more of a dietary preference, but I'll tell you what I do because I'm looking at my macros all day long. So sometimes I need the protein without the fat, and sometimes I want protein and fat. So I keep a variety. I keep primarily plain Greek yogurt in the house. That I would say that's my primary source personally of dairy. I do like cheese though, and I do eat cheese. But low fat, full fat, go by your macros because you want to keep your macros balanced. And also it's just a personal preference. I find that full fat is tastier because it's less tangy. Do you guys agree with that? Why don't you go ahead and type in the comments? Do you like low fat, full fat, or non-fat for dairy? Let's go ahead and see what your comments are. I'm kind of curious. So, okay, so it's not showing me anything, but just go ahead and type. Now, in terms of dairy substitutes, a lot of people ask me that also. When it comes to ketogenic dieting, what dairy substitutes can I have? And actually, you can have all dairy substitutes. You can have almond milk, coconut milk. Again, these are all unsweetened varieties, and always read the labels of what you're buying. Cashew milk, you could have soy milk. So all those substitutes are really okay. And if you are lactose intolerant, try soy yogurt. I hear it's pretty good, but again, check the carbs. So if you're buying yogurt that is fruited, chances are it's even vanilla, but vanilla not quite so bad. But chances are it's pretty high in sugar. So my suggestion is to check the label. Plain Greek is your best bet. And I like to put crushed nuts in there. It's really, really good. I don't know if anyone's ever tried crushed nuts in yogurt. You could add some blueberries. We're going to get to fruit in just a minute and how that would affect a ketogenic diet. But, okay, so dairy and cheese, I assume there's no questions on that. I'm going to go ahead and move on. So fats and oils, and a lot of people ask me, what kind of fat should I be eating? Can I have saturated fat? So the way that a ketogenic diet works is you're actually switching your metabolism to burn fat for fuel, for energy, instead of glucose, which is derived primarily from a carbohydrate source. So because you're burning fat, the fat that you're eating, in addition to the fat tissue on your body, is what's being used for energy. Because of that, you don't have to be quite as restrictive on saturated fats. And here's why. Because when you're burning fat and you're eating fat, that fat that you're consuming in your diet gets burned for energy. So it doesn't actually go into your bloodstream and is processed quite that way. Now, having said that, before you begin any diet program, you should be checking with your doctor. And if your doctor feels that you need to limit your saturated fat, that's the advice that you should take. You should always follow the advice of your doctor. Having said all that, just for health purposes, I think it's probably best to get most of your fats from healthy, primarily plant sources. So they're primarily unsaturated, but there's also these medium chain fats that you can also have. Like if you've heard of MCT oil, coconut oil, they say is a medium chain triglyceride. You can do plant-based fats like olive oil, flaxseed oil, any of the seeds like chia seeds, flaxseed. You could have butter if you want. Again, it's saturated. So once again, you kind of want to watch the amount that you're eating of it. And dairy too has saturated fat. So these are sources that you would keep a closer eye on, be a little bit more stingy. But for most of us, unless you have alarmingly high cholesterol, unless you have heart disease, there are some reasons to stay away, and that is really a conversation with your doctor. But you could have almond butter or oil, avocado oil, butter, as I mentioned, I like grass-fed, cocoa butter, cocoa oil, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, grapeseed oil, hemp seed oil, macadamia nut oil, the MCT oil that I mentioned. You could even have mayonnaise. I prefer that you go with olive oil based mayonnaise. I think that's the best. But olive oil, walnut oil, and fat. Oh, and avocado itself. Fats are something that you do want to add to a ketogenic diet because once again, you're burning fat. But the thing is it has to be a really well-designed ketogenic diet because if you're eating too much fat, you won't burn the fat on your body. So you want just enough fat for energy to switch that metabolism over so that the fat that you're eating is used for energy, but you don't want to give your body all the fat it needs for energy. So this is where very specific macronutrients come in. And that's why I always refer to ketogenic, but my low carb version, which is Shake the Sugar, I refer to that also as a well-formulated diet. And that's what I mean. It's well-formulated, meaning that we're kind of keeping an eye on the macronutrients. It's not just calories alone. You got to peel back that layer of calories, because for most of us, our calories are probably in line most of the time. And that's where the macronutrients really come up. Okay, so far we've talked about dairy and dairy substitutes. We've talked about oils. And I have a whole list of ketogenic, foods that you can eat. But that list, you can get a PDF. All you have to do is message me your email address. I wouldn't put it in the comments here because everybody will see it. But you can message me your email address and I'll send you the list directly. Okay, so seafood, meats, poultry, fish, all that stuff is ketogenic friendly. There's really no limitations. The only limitations, as I've already talked about, is for saturated fat. So when it comes to meat, I would recommend the leaner cuts overall. Because the thing is, not just for the idea that you're getting too much saturated fat if you eat a really fatty like steak, but the problem too is that it's really easy to go over your fats. So you have to be kind of picky about your fats and where they're coming from and how much you're getting in each meal. So yeah, if you wanted to have a kind of a juicy burger, no bun, but a juicy burger with some cheddar cheese, that's great. But just know that you have to work that into your day because it contains a lot of fat. The other thing about meats that I do want to bring up is meats are really great, but the more processed varieties are definitely not as healthy. So there are fillers and nitrates and stuff like that that have been proven to be not so healthy for us, causing things like colon cancer and other types of cancer. So generally speaking, I would stay away from the more processed meats. What do I mean by processed meats? I mean things like the more processed sausages, salamis, things like corned beef. Again, it's okay like here and there, but overall, I'd probably stay away from that kind of stuff. So if you have questions on any sort of protein source, lean meats or any meat, fish, poultry, seafood, go ahead and put it in the comments now. Okay, so now let's get into, eggs. Eggs, I think, is a great source and very keto friendly. And I eat eggs almost every day. The whole eggs and cholesterol connection is really not a well-proven connection. And so they say that cholesterol does not come from what we eat because the cholesterol that we're counting in our body that affects us is not in our diet, but rather it's that sticky substance in your blood, which is produced by your body. So you really have to think about what's creating that production. And usually it is a high sugar diet, believe it or not, that can create high cholesterol. Again, that's a conversation with your doctor. So eggs might be a personal thing for you, but I eat eggs and I love eggs. I love egg whites. And I have a lot of clients that really love egg substitutes. They'll make the omelet in a mug in the morning. They'll add some cheese in there and they've got breakfast in 2 minutes. I also have a great recipe for the egg cups. And these are great grab and goes, even a hard-boiled egg. Just don't open it on a plane because it's really smelly. Okay, so if that sounds good, give me some likes on here. I see some people are on. Let's move on to fruit. So I get a lot of questions about fruit because fruit and vegetables, as we know, when it comes to carbohydrates and a ketogenic diet, they are really two different things. Fruit is much more carbohydrate focused, it's much more dense. So an apple might be 25 grams of carbs, and a banana for sure is 25 grams, sometimes more. Whereas a cup of broccoli is about 7. So you can see there's a really big difference between fruits and vegetables, and they really do not belong in the same category. However, there are some fruits that are permissible on a ketogenic diet, and like everything, you should be weighing and measuring whenever you can. The more you weigh and measure at home, the more likely you will be able to have a good educated eye when you're out. So I highly recommend weighing and measuring. Now, as for which fruits in particular, berries are one: strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. The rest are on my list, and you can get that copy. All you have to do is just email me, or you can message me on this Facebook page and just give me your email address. And I'll know when I see that. I'll just send you the PDF right away. Okay, so let's move on to nuts. Nuts are a really great source of protein and fat. So just like the other sources, you want to keep some on hand. They're a great snack. I'm a huge lover of nut butter. Obviously, you have to measure the quantity. And any nut butter, I'm more in favor of like an almond butter than I am a peanut butter, because some people are more sensitive to legumes. And so peanuts are a little iffier in that category, and they're not really a nut, actually. And they're not the most healthful source. So almond butter, cashew butter, macadamia nut butter, these are really much better sources. As always, measure for sure, and just be careful with that portion size. So seeds are another great source. A little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a little bit of fiber. Chia seeds, flax seeds. You can also, sorry, I'm getting all these messages popping up. You can also use them as a filler, like to make smoothies thicker. I put like flaxseed. I like chia seed too. I tend to use flaxseed, the ground flaxseed, more often, only because chia seeds get in my teeth. So I have this little black stuff in my teeth. But anyway, I love them as fillers in yogurt, in smoothies. If I were eating oatmeal, I'd put it in oatmeal. You could put it in eggs. There's really a lot of stuff that you can do. Plus things like almond flour, ground flax seeds. These and coconut flour, these are my favorites to like bread chicken with instead of breadcrumbs. I think it's really, really delicious. So, okay, so as for drinks, a lot of people ask me about artificial sweeteners. And honestly, if you're eating a lot, if you're consuming a lot of artificial sweeteners, I would tell you to cut down. My threshold is 3 or less. So that could be 3 servings or 3 packets. And I would say cut down to 0 if you can. If you need it a little bit here and there, not a big deal. But artificial sweeteners do actually increase your blood sugar. And the whole purpose of a ketogenic diet is to give you stable blood sugar. So you really are going to want to pay attention to artificial sweeteners as much as you can. Now, in terms of, there's a lot of drinks out there, a lot of waters, fortified waters, stuff like that. I think that's fine. Once again, if they're loaded with artificial sweeteners, you're going to have to cut down. I would go 3 or under. But there are flavored unsweetened teas and a whole bunch of things out there. I mean, I love lemon and fruit infused water. I would stick with the citrus. I wouldn't be doing a ton of fruits that could raise the carb level of your water. But there are certain infusions that are really delicious, like lemon and cucumber and mint. delicious. You feel like you're in a spa. So I love using a diffuser. I drink lemon water pretty much every day, and I just think it's great. I think it's great for you. Okay, so vegetables, aside from the high starch vegetables, you're pretty free and easy with vegetables. So I don't really have to say a whole lot about that, and I don't want to make this too long. One other thing is alcohol. And remember, if you want to get the copy of this list, go ahead and just message me your email address and I'll send you the PDF. I would not put it in the comments, but you could comment if you have a question, or you can put that question in your message. Okay, so for alcohol, there's more information about this in the PDF, but as a general overall guideline, harder, clear alcohol does not have carbs. So you're really okay with that. The thing is if you're following a ketogenic diet, you will be more affected by alcohol. I kept thinking that maybe I was just a lightweight and I'm getting older, but I'm realizing that part of the reason I'm so affected by drinking so little is because I'm on a ketogenic diet. So just something to watch out for, because of course we want to be safe, and naturally alcohol should be in moderation. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you have a clearer sense, and this helped to sort of clear up any of your questions. I want you to go ahead and comment. I'll wait a few more minutes if you want to just comment real quick if you have some comments or if you have some questions. The thing about ketogenic dieting is there's really a huge variety of food that you can eat. You know, I've had people say to me, God, you know, you're so deprived. I mean, don't you feel deprived? How do you not like dig into the breadbasket every time you're at a restaurant? And you know what? I don't even miss it. Like, I am so content with a ketogenic way of life. And honestly, it's not that I'm so super skinny, and I'm not, but I feel so good. And I really do believe deep down in my core values that I'm doing something that's really good for me. And I think the fact that I feel great speaks volumes. So that's my thoughts on the ketogenic food list. I'll still answer any questions that come through after this broadcast. And remember, if you want your copy, just go ahead and PM me. You can do it right from the Facebook page. Yeah. So, and any questions at all, you can put those in the comments if you can, because I think other people would benefit by hearing them. And go ahead and like and share this post. If you think this is valuable information, something that someone you know and love might benefit from, go ahead and share it. So that's really it for today, and I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.